So, hello and welcome to DocsAutomator's October update and live stream. Can someone write in the chat maybe quickly whether you can hear me? And let me check this. Great. I think you can hear me. Hi, Mark. So I always have this bottle on my desk. Hello, Barnaby. Hi, Frank. And it's like super narrow, and I just tipped it over right before I went live, and have basically water all over the place. Anyways, thanks a lot for joining. I thought I do these live updates now monthly because it gives me a bit of a chance to also answer questions and sort of respond to anything that might be of concern or anything you're interested in. And it's otherwise always just me in front of the camera. And at least now there's like some interaction. So if anything goes wrong, like life is a bit tricky always. So if anything goes wrong, I'm doing this for the first time. This is the first live stream I've ever done. So bear with me. Let's get started. So let me share my screen so you can see what I wanna do here. I have these points. Basically a couple of features that I've built over the past weeks and that I wanna highlight today. First one is webhooks. Webhooks, and by the way, just when you have questions, put them in the chat, and then I'll get to them. I'll get to them later. Just maybe I pause after every point. Webhooks. Airtable has made big changes in the past weeks. So I've opened the Airtable pricing page here, and basically there are no extensions anymore for free Airtable users. So basically they removed the option for free users to use DocsAutomator. So I had to come up with some solution, and actually the solution I wanted to implement for quite a while, and that is that you can trigger document creation via webhooks. So I have like an example automation here. Before, like, you always had to use a script, and now a simple webhook can be used to just trigger automations. The webhook here is already prepared. If you've selected Airtable as your data source, is already prepared for an Airtable formula or button. So just going to show this quickly. I have some sample base here, and I can just add a formula and basically just paste what I've copied before. And if I now initiate this, it says document creation initiated. And if all goes well, then a few seconds later, the invoice PDF is printed, as you can see here. So this makes it a lot easier now to generate documents. Before, users always had to use a script for this, and it allows free users to generate documents at all, because for a couple of days now or weeks, like Airtable is sort of releasing bit by bit, or converting users bit by bit. It wasn't really possible for free users to even initiate document creation. For those of you interested in Airtable, what's interesting is like I have a free account here. So this is actually my DocsAutomator Airtable account, which is not paid. I think like none of these actually work, like none of these extensions, but the scripting extension still works. So there's some reason why they kept the scripting extension live for now, and I don't really know why. But if we take them seriously, what they've what they're writing on the pricing page, then also the scripting extension should be gone anytime soon. So yeah, DocsAutomator now is prepared for that change because you can initiate document creation via this simple webhook. Of course, this makes the API a bit more open, which means like you can even paste this webhook in a browser and it would work, because that's essentially what we're doing here. It's a bit of a trade-off because it makes it easier to generate a lot of documents, makes it less manageable for users. What I'm intending to do is adding like a past runs section in the DocsAutomator dashboard or in the web app. I think this is also going to be really handy for Glide users, for instance, or any API users. Because currently in Glide, it's a bit of a black box what's happening when you initiate document creation. And in the DocsAutomator web app, I would then have a past runs section where you could see which ones got initiated, which ones failed, etc. So yeah, I think that that would make it a lot easier. I'm going to Japan for 3 weeks, so I'm not going to release that before, because I think I won't get to it, to be honest. But then more like in December, I think that's something that I will definitely include, and that sort of also opens up the way to making DocsAutomator, the web app, a bit more powerful in general, because then there are going to be past runs, which allows you to see which runs failed, but it also allows you to open the PDFs, and potentially I will sort of at some point add something there as well, so you can send PDFs from there, you can go into the Google Doc from there right away, so the web app becomes a bit more standalone than it is currently, where it's basically in the case of Glide, it's very, very limited what's happening here, right? I'm just adding the Google Docs template and then I leave again. Basically, this could also happen in Glide when we would improve, or when the Glide integration would be improved, which I'm working on. So I'm working with the team, but I think they're releasing quite a lot of features currently. So DocsAutomator is not their highest priority currently, I think. But I hope that we can release some changes towards early next year to the Glide integration as well, where hopefully it also gets a bit easier to map line items, etc. That's it. That was webhooks. So next thing, multiple images support. Currently or before, hey. Yeah, I know. They seem to like it. I hope they can focus a bit more on improving the integration. I hope we can really bring the Glide integration to a next step very soon. Multiple images support. This was requested for months and I didn't really get to it. Now it's finally released. Multiple images can now be added to documents. Before, like speaking about Airtable in this case, if you had, let's say, 10 images in an attachment field, like I have this images field here, then only the first one, the first image in that order from that image array got pulled. Now you can add images here, and these will be replaced for one placeholder. So the workaround before was users would have 5 to 10 different image placeholders when they wanted to add 5 to 10 images. Now all of that can be replaced for one placeholder, and I'll show you how. Let me go to this great website, which is Lorem Pixum, which gives you these different images right away. So we add images here quickly. There we go. And in the web app, I can show you the template as well. These are mapped down here under the image gallery. The name already says it. I want to add multiple images here, a gallery of images. This was already mapped to images. The width in pixels is the width now for every image that gets added. I want to include the height as well, so you can choose between setting the width or the height. Like some users have reached out to me and said it would actually be better to set the height because the document flows from top to bottom. So actually want to control the height more than the width, which I understand. I think it will always be proportional though. So I will not allow both to be set and then have like images that get scaled out of proportion. So let's try this and see. I think I initiated this for the wrong one. Yeah, not the 002. The 001. While this is loading, Frank's question on higher subscription says non-expiring PDFs. We actually want to delete them or make them expire. Is that possible? Yeah, very, very good point. That is something that I wanted to include actually for quite a while, but haven't really, didn't really get to it yet. But for sure, I want to sort of in the automation settings, I want to include that you can set basically an expiration date to forever, which it is currently, right? They just exist and keep existing. You would have to tell me, please delete them, which you can, by the way. But I want to allow users also to set an expiration date in the automation settings. So, and the images got printed. As you can see, they just get all added next to each other. Here, setting the height wasn't really necessary because they're all at the same height because they came from the same source. But of course, that's like a dream case scenario now. That's not always the case. But yeah, that's how multiple images can be added. This also works via the API. For Glide users out there, I don't think it's currently available for Glide, to be honest. Basically because in the Glide integration, when values are mapped, the values are always stringified. So it's like one big text, basically. And already for line items, I do a lot in the background to basically turn that into a list of things. And here I would have to do the same, and I haven't done that yet. And I also don't know, I'm not 100% sure whether I want to do that or whether I want to wait for the Glide integration to become more powerful in general, so we can, for instance, send lists of images. And I also don't know, and maybe some Glide experts in there, I see V88, multiple images is an interesting thing in Glide anyways. I think it's like a separate field or something. And currently I saw in the integration that field also can't be mapped to a placeholder. So currently not available for Glide, but available for Airtable and API users. Yes, so there was multiple images support. I forgot something. Uncheck the file check. Yeah, thanks. Exactly, just to the Glide point, it's an array, and that array gets stringified currently, so it gets turned into a string. I would have to basically pass that again, but yeah, it's a lot of strange code basically that I'm adding, which I don't really want to do. So I think with that one, I'm going to wait for the integration to get better. Thanks for talking about. Thank you. File check. When I'm adding a PDF here, I had a PDF earlier. Yeah, this dummy PDF. It's quite interesting when you say when you Google for dummy PDF. There's actually like a W3 actually has a dummy PDF online. Anyways, maybe only I find that interesting. If there is a PDF, this would have led to an error before, because basically says sorry, can't can deal with that. I've now done a file check as well in this, so this would actually come out well, fine now, and would check whether what's getting printed is a PDF, and then that file just gets skipped. Because Google Docs in the background, which DocsAutomator is using for creating documents, doesn't allow PDFs. Basically only allows PNGs and JPEGs to be printed. Something for images, last point to that is still on the roadmap is automatic downscaling or downsizing of images. So there's a 10 megabyte limit for documents currently when adding attachments or adding images to it, and I want to find a good way of downsizing images automatically, because usually there's no reason, like for Glide for instance, like users are uploading images from their iPhones, and usually there is no need for that 48 megapixel image to be in documents. It would be completely fine if that would be scaled down to 500 kilobytes or so, but I don't really know the rules yet, how to do that basically. So that's what I'm still trying to figure out, but it would actually solve a lot of problems for users where sometimes document creation fails because it was just too much. There were just too many images, and with too many images added, and those 10 megabytes were exceeded. That was that. So now, something I'm very proud of is Markdown and text formatting. Unfortunately, once again, something that is not really available for Glide currently. The whole reason why things are not available for Glide, by the way, is because I don't maintain the integration, so I can't really make changes myself to it. But I'm going to show again, as like in the example of Airtable, how Markdown works. In Airtable, there's a field type called long text, and then on long text you can enable rich text. And rich text, for those of you who are familiar with that, I guess you already know this. Rich text basically gives you this option to set headlines, to set a list, to set various things. Make text bold or italic or strike through, all these things. This can now be added to documents as well. So I've had these like this sample text here, and we had already printed this as well. Yeah, as you can see, this, like the driver instructions, please handle, and then in bold the products very carefully. All of that, this comes from one variable. So this basically now allows to style text conditionally and do various text formatting, like do various different formattings, or apply various different formattings on text. What's also possible is if we have a link, let's say for instance to DocsAutomator.co. No, I didn't want to do this. Then this would now from here, of course, lead to the website. If I print this, and we wait, then let me make this bigger. This would actually be printed in the document as well. So Google Docs supports links, of course, and then those links are also in the printed PDF. A word of caution for basically the Airtable Markdown integration. This is not real Markdown, and it's very important to, for instance, make sure to not make white space bold because that's not Markdown. But Airtable kind of allows for it. So this is not 100% Markdown. This is kind of Airtable's flavor of it, and I had to sort of translate that into Markdown. But it's important that when you apply a text styling here, for instance, to never take white space, because white space, no, not start or end on white space. In between it can be white space, of course, but not to start or end on white space. Yeah, and otherwise, everything here is supported. So 3 different levels of headlines. Then lists are supported, and quotes. I've also tried to mimic the styling of quotes in a document. So this works fairly well, I think. And there's definitely something that can be improved. But for now, at least, I think I have a decently working version of this. The certain styles are still taken from the template itself. So, for instance, the font is taken from the template itself. It just gets used as well. So, if this would be some funny font like Pacifico, then we generate this, then this should take that font as well. What also gets taken is the color and the background color. So this would also just be applied to this. Markdown has no color, so you can't really set the color via Markdown. Yeah, let me expand this. Here you can see now everything's in Pacifico. Yeah, so it's the first time that there's a bit of a mix up to this point. Like all the styling was always set exclusively in the Google Doc. Now there's a bit of styling also coming from the data source, so passed via Airtable, passed via the API, hopefully passed via Glide soon and ClickUp soon, and all the other integrations. Is anyone interested how this looks like coming from the API? Then I would quickly show the syntax of that, but otherwise I'm just gonna go ahead, and I can also get back to it. Frank has a question. Before I forget my question, any plan for Microsoft Word or OneDrive support in the future? So when I started, I had the plan to allow for to build for MS Word as well. To be honest, I see too much potential in the Google Workspace world, and DocsAutomator's core audience is kind of the no-code, low-code world, and I think it's predominantly Google Workspace based at this point. So I want to be very honest today. I don't really have it on the roadmap even at this point. And my roadmap sort of goes 6 months into the future. So it's not 5 years into the future, it's 6 months into the future. But sort of exactly, startups hate Microsoft and Office 365. And to be honest, I also don't like to build for it currently. So once again, I see so much potential in other areas that I think I will focus on that first. And there's no plan currently for supporting Word or Office. Sorry. But yeah, thanks for the question. I think, of course, it would be, it's a crazy world to build for, and to build for the entire Microsoft universe. But currently it's just me. Like I'm the only developer resource that this company has. So kind of I need to focus on certain things, and yeah, I think it's not MS Word for now. There was Markdown, text formatting. Something I wanted to mention is that multiple line items are now available for Glide. Not going to go into it now. There's just want to point to this video on YouTube that explains how to include multiple line items tables coming from Glide and what the syntax for that is. The syntax is a bit different from single line items, but this is now also possible and was sort of requested for months and many, many times in the Glide community. So very happy that this is finally there. Annual subscriptions. This is something that I wanted to point to today, as it might also be applicable for like people who are already subscribed who know that they're going to use DocsAutomator for a long time anyways. Let me go to app and then subscribe, I think is the route. Yeah. As you can see, there are the monthly plans that most of you know, and then there's also now a yearly option. The yearly option is roughly 20% off, so basically 2 months off, or around 2 months off. So for already existing subscribers, if you subscribe now, you would basically book for an entire year from today, I think minus the remaining month or something. But yeah, just wanted to make you aware that I've launched yearly plans, and anyone who's already subscribed can switch to yearly plans as well, of course. I think I'm not going to focus on or explain the new API endpoint for just all of you here. If you go on the website, there is the DocsAutomator API, which is horribly documented currently. It's not really good. I really have to improve it. But there is a new endpoint, which I now see that I haven't really properly included here. But basically, it's for anyone who's using DocsAutomator's API to integrate it into other software. You can now list all the placeholders of a certain user. So for the Glide integration, for instance, that means that instead of typing the keys for every placeholder in the Google Docs, so the key like client name, client street, etc., those could be pulled automatically and then just listed on the left-hand side. Very similar to how I'm doing this here in the web app on the left-hand side, right? So for the Airtable integration, these get pulled automatically, and then you can just map them. So this is possible with the API now, and is sort of for me like I'm including this for basically paving the way for more and more other software providers, other tools in the no-code space to be able to integrate with DocsAutomator and the API. Frank, great to hear that. Thanks a lot. I actually like setting expiring PDFs is not a big thing. So I don't really know why I haven't included it yet, but I think I can have that online pretty soon. Thanks a lot. Last point, and something I don't really have on this list, and I'm putting this now on the list, is DocsAutomator's affiliate program, which I've released this week. Isn't really properly announced. Excuse me. You can see it here on top of the page. Yeah, I mean, the product is great. The dev, I'm not so sure sometimes, but I'm doing my best. Thanks, Frank. You can see here on top of the page DocsAutomator's affiliate program. It's also here in the footer somewhere. And basically, I'm extending a 30% commission on anyone referring DocsAutomator. There's also this calculator here. So let's say you're referring 5 200 plans, 5 500, and 3 2000. Then you get 137 euros every month, just like that. And this is forever. So this is not only for 12 months. This is as long as that customer stays with DocsAutomator. Yeah, and I will try to extend this to consultants more and more, and to people in the industry, to let people really participate in DocsAutomator's success and the growth of the product and company. That was it. That's, I think, all I have for now. That was the October 2023 live update. What's the time now? 5:30. Did I say this is an hour? No, right? I said maybe an hour. I don't know. Any more questions? I'm happy to take. I hope I have answered all the questions in the chat. I think I have. Otherwise, please go ahead. Thanks, Barnaby. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Mark. Or the V88 team. I don't know if it's Mark. Thanks a lot for joining. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else. You can always reach out to me, you know, the in-app chat, or send me an email. Always very, very Bournemouth, if I remember correctly. Thanks, GT Formation. Sorry, I don't know your name. Great. I don't know how big the delay is, by the way. Like, could be. I think it should only be a second or 2 seconds. But you, of course, also don't know because you don't know when I'm saying these words. Any more questions? This, by the way, a bottle from. It's reversed, right? Yeah. Bottle from Base Row. Got this in Paris at the No Code Summit. Great Airtable alternative. Patrick. Awesome. Now I'm trying to save that. Thanks a lot. I try to keep building great stuff. Ciao, Mark. Speak soon. Thank you. Okay, then let's call it a day. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. You know where to find me. And see you again next month. Bye. Bye-bye.